So, good morning, everyone. I'm Maddalena, and I'm a postdoctoral researcher at the Network Science Institute at Northeastern University. And my research lies at the intersection of complex system, network science, statistics, and data science, all focus on soccer or football. I will use them both. You need to forgive me today. And you might wonder why network science and complexity science and soccer are such a good fit. So I hope it doesn't come as a surprise to you, but soccer is a team sport. And with these collective motion aspects, its temporal patterns and its temporal dynamics in general, it can really be easily and naturally represented by network science and studied as a complex system. So today I'm going to give you some perspective about this on a very specific topic, and I need to say also quite a hot topic today, that is off-ball support. So I'm looking forward to all the talks that are covering this particular aspect of soccer today. What I can tell you is that traditionally the analysis on these off-ball support values runs have been considering just individual movements and actions, or more focused on space creation by player. What I want to do is shift a little bit this framework and analyze the off-ball support as a dynamic support network. So instead of considering individual action, I'm going to present to you a representation of a system that considers teams' actions. And I'm going to investigate how much the team in general, the support team, is impacting the opportunities and the chances of the ball carrier. So let's dive into it. I'm going to guide you a little bit on how network science is helping us working with this representation. So basing my representation on the Delaunay triangulation, and I'm gonna really make it simple for you and also for me, this representation of a network take into account just the relevant gameplay connection. So how many times you pass the ball to another player and how close you are to this player during the match and at any time. And this representation has always is already being used to assess the flexibility of roles during a match on the pitch. And as I told you, it helps us taking into account all the relevant and necessary gameplay connection. On another level, we want to include also and taking into account pitch control from players. So we are gonna try and understand how much you cover the pitch, what is the area you are controlling, and to do that, we are relying on Voronoi tessellation that is, again, based on proximity, and the area you're covering as a player is delimited by your teammates very, very easily. And last but not least, we are going to consider also another metric that we call openness, and as it's suggested, it tells us how much freedom do you have of movement and how many opponents are you surrounded by and how close they are to you, basically. And we are going to consider this metric as the closest distance from your closest opponent and average on all the team. Ending up, just to be short, in this representation of the system. On the left, you can find what we can describe through the Delaunay triangulation. And on the right, you can see how Voronoi tessellation can help us taking into account the pitch control by the player. So how is this useful? And how we are going to work on it to understand how much the team support is actually impacting on ball carrier actions. So as I show it to you, we are going to consider some feature or these representations, such as the distance from your teammates, the distance from your opponents, how close are you to the ball carrier, how much area are you covering, so much and so forth. And to crash test this representation, we are going to individuate a very specific case study that is understanding how can we discriminate normal passes from key passes or asses, we don't care about the outcome of the shot, to as a proxy for the opportunity, a chance for ball carrier. So we are going to input all this feature and feed this feature to a very basic classification model that is called logistic regression. And we are going to try to understand how well this model can classify normal passes from key passes. So let me guide you a little bit into that. If we pass and feed to the model just the position of the ball on the pitch without not considering players or distances or area covered, the performance of the model is basically a coin flip. So you don't have any information for a pure possession context. Instead, if you add just individual context, so how much area does the ball carrier covers, how close are his teammates to him, and how open are they to receive a passage, the performance of the model slightly increased, as you can see, from both NWSL and WSL. But what is the real game changer is when we pass collective feature to the model, and we are shifting basically from a local individual context to a collective context. So as you can see, the performance is increased by a lot. And what we can learn from this is actually which are the features that are mostly impacting on this performance. And if we are going to look into that, is that basically how are you structured and displaced on the pitch. And specifically during key passes, we can see that in not many words, how the defense tend to compact while the attack tend to spread out, obviously creating more opportunity for the ball carrier to have more meaningful connection to his player. But maybe a video is worth of like more than many words, I can tell you. Here we are watching Man City versus Crystal Palace, and I take into consideration a very specific key passes here from the left flank of the pitch passing to the sea. You can see how much the defense is compacting while the attack is spreading out. So what did we learn? How is this useful? And what on? Well, so this support network representation is a flexible and meaningful representation and model to understand the off-ball support, taking into consideration, again, not just individual actions, but team, collective actions. And what works is that, as I told you, collective context outperform local or individual context, and the results are consistent across leagues. So there is some signal there that it's important to highlight. The limitation is, though, that we cannot consider causality. So we don't know if the team in action is imposing its game and then exploit an opportunity, or just exploiting an opportunity per se. But there are some other methodology that I'm working on right now that are causality tests, so studying causal impact and temporal patterns to understand how decoy mechanism or specific set pieces can help us understand the causality of this particular situation. And as I told you, this is a very flexible representation because we crash test it, as I show you, on key passes versus normal passes, but it can be applied to any kind of events such fouls or ball possession loss or injuries. And said that, I want to thank you for your kind attention, and special thanks to Brennan and Ariel for supporting me. Thank you.